Tonight, the art of a deal. Donald Trump touts a new trade agreement with a major global player. The U.S. marks its latest trade deal, this time with the European Union.
This doesn't portend well, very well for Canada.
Why the deal with the EU could spell bad news for Canada's negotiations. Trap lines torched by flames, how wildfires will impact an industry that helped build Canada. And inside baseball, celebrating a sensational season for the Blue Jays.
I've always watched just a few innings here and there, but now, I love watching the whole game.
How the Jays have become the hottest team and what fans have to say about it.
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a major move in transatlantic trade, an apparent deal between the United States and the European Union. The preliminary agreement settling on 15% tariffs on most goods, half of the more punishing 30% President Trump had threatened. That leaves Canada looking in from the sidelines ahead of Friday's deadline. CTV's Jeremy Sharon breaks it down.
I think it's the biggest deal ever made. Thank you very much.
An agreement between two of the world's biggest economies. President Donald Trump touting the partnership with Europe from inside one of his Scottish golf clubs today.
It's a giant deal with lots of countries because, as you know, Ursula represents a lot of countries, not one country.
Indeed, it is. European Union President Ursula von der Leyen making the trip to Turnberry, describing this as a framework to end months of uncertainty over trade between two economic superpowers.
It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic.
The agreement will see EU countries face a baseline 15% tariff across the board and commit to spending hundreds of billions of dollars on American energy and increase its overall investments in the U.S. But experts say another deal with a 15% baseline and no exemption on steel, autos, or aluminum is a bad sign for Canada.
This doesn't portend well, very well for Canada. I think we've got to be pushing for more, and I think the government, the Carney government, is correct to be taking this quite slowly.
Canada is still facing a looming Friday tariff deadline that Trump insists won't budge.
The August 1st is there for everyone. The deals all start on August 1st.
As it stands, Canada faces 35% tariffs on goods not covered under CUSMA, but it's unclear if that exemption would continue if a deal is reached.
Keep in mind, Trump has backed away from other deadlines when it came to tariffs, so we'll really have to just see what happens. He talks a very big game.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has suggested a tariff-free deal is unlikely. Experts say a low baseline tariff on non-CUSMA products only would be seen as a win. Heather?
Jeremy, thank you. CTV's Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa. This agreement comes after months of tense talks. For more on Trump's trade tactics, we turn to CTV's U.S. political analyst, Eric Ham. Eric, Donald Trump touting this as the biggest deal ever made. What do you make of this preliminary agreement?
Well, we know Donald Trump likes to tout big numbers and being a part of historic numbers. And in this case, he's actually right. We're talking a multi-trillion-dollar economy, and this certainly staves off a massive trade war between two of the largest economies, as well as is good news for the markets themselves.
Eric, now that Japan and the EU have locked in deals, what are the challenges facing Canada's negotiating team?
I think the challenges for the Canadian negotiating team will be very similar to what we saw with the EU. The president oftentimes spoke of walking away from a deal, saying that they didn't need this deal, and clearly that was a lot of posturing. So I think we see a blueprint for how Canadian negotiators should not only handle Donald Trump in these final days, but also what to expect from an actual deal in terms of baseline tariffs.
All right, Eric, so does he stick with the August 1st deadline? We've seen the goalposts move before. Does he seem more firm this round?
I think given the fact that he has such highly touted deals that he can use to bolster, particularly with the EU and Japan, absolutely he does. In fact, knowing how he feels about Canada, I think that date is actually etched in stone for the president.
Eric, thank you. To the Middle East now, where the leader of the UN's humanitarian agency says more than 100 truckloads of aid were delivered to Gaza today as Israel eased some restrictions. It comes after days of mounting international pressure. CTV's Colton Prele on what Israel is calling a tactical pause.
This is what it means to see humanitarian aid re-enter Gaza today. Exhausted and famished, this family now has some hope.
This is Adam. He's having seizures, and he's been also suffering from starvation.
But Canadians with family in the enclave say food isn't reaching everyone.
It's a continuous struggle to try to call some organizations on the ground to get some food baskets delivered to my family, and all they are saying is that there's nothing we can do.
This weekend, airdrops and trucks are shuttling into Gaza with renewed urgency after Israel announced it would begin daily pauses of military activities in 3 regions of Gaza from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. local time for aid to flow. For some, it's a glimmer of hope after years of anguish.
I've been calling my therapist on a weekly basis.
Israel insists there is no starvation in Gaza.
What a bold-faced lie. There is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza.
Fadi Kader says he feels gaslit as his relatives go hungry.
And when they say never again, what do they mean by that? Never again if you look like that, or never again if you look like that, or never again if you look certain religion, certain color? That is not never again.
Today, the World Health Organization saying over 60 people died in Gaza due to malnutrition this month, while nearly 1 in 5 children are acutely malnourished.
Whatever bit of aid is going to enter the Gaza Strip today undoubtedly will save lives. But it's clear that what is needed is really a consistent influx.
Meanwhile, Israel says it will continue to allow the minimal entry of humanitarian supplies while it continues to fight until complete victory.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister says the decision to unblock aid is a step in the right direction, but the move needs to be made permanent. Heather.
CTV's Colton Prele in Ottawa. Thanks. Turning to other news now, and the intense heat that's gripping large parts of eastern Canada. Temperatures across Ontario, including Toronto, reaching over 30 degrees today. The humidex, though, making it feel more like 40. At one point, Hamilton, Ontario was the hottest spot in all of Canada. The intense heat is expected to last until at least Tuesday, prompting warnings for people to take precautions. Environment Canada is investigating the severity of this twister caught on video in Midwestern Ontario Saturday night. No reports of injuries or major damage to buildings, but there were reports of downed trees at a farmhouse and campground near Goderich. The scorching conditions taking a toll across the country. Even coastal communities in Newfoundland, not typically known for the heat, can't escape it. CTV's Garrett Barry with the impact it's having there.
Between the goats, the turkeys, the ducks, and the bees, Steve McBride has a big and growing family.
I've got over 1 million mouths to feed and water over the course of the day on any given day.
Lately, it's been looking like this. Daily trips to a nearby pond to fill up these 5-gallon buckets of water, one at a time.
We've been here on the homestead, pretty much off the grid for 12 years now. And I've never seen anything like this, not even close.
That's how dry it has been this summer in Newfoundland. About half of the normal amount of rain has fallen in this region. Moderate drought conditions, according to Agriculture Canada, here mere meters away from the Atlantic Ocean.
It hasn't rained. We've only got trace amounts of rain. And it's really starting to stack. The well's gone dry, vegetation is starting to dry up, and it's looking a little grim, actually.
It doesn't help that the animals are parched, slurping up these buckets way faster than normal.
This grazing field in St. John's is looking pretty yellow and pretty short, and that's making it just a little bit more complicated to feed all these animals.
Because we don't have any irrigation on this now, I would think that I'll probably have to start feeding them the winter's hay, pretty soon.
That could be expensive for farmer Jim Lester. When he's done it before, it's because the grass was too wet, not too dry.
You'll see a lot of fellows having to bring their cattle and their sheep home from the community pastures, whereas normally we can leave them out till the 1st of December or at least the end of October.
There's no easy solution to these problems. Lester expects come this fall, he'll have to sell some animals or buy more feed. There's one option that everybody agrees on: hope for rain, and lots of it. Garrett Barry, CTV News in Mobile, Newfoundland and Labrador.
The RCMP is confirming at least one person is dead following a small plane crash Saturday in Newfoundland and Labrador. The incident occurred near the airport in the town of Deer Lake. Officials say the aircraft crashed just 3 minutes after takeoff. The names of the passengers on board have not been released. The Transportation Safety Board is investigating. And dramatic moments caught on video as 179 passengers and crew had to use emergency slides to exit a plane on fire at a Denver airport. One person was rushed to hospital, 5 others were treated on scene. Officials say the American Airlines jet was headed to Miami when a landing gear issue sparked a fire. In Michigan, a man who allegedly went on a stabbing rampage in a Walmart is in custody tonight and set to be charged with a number of offenses, including terrorism.
Mr. Gilley's history shows prior assaultive incidents as well as controlled substance violations. A motive has not yet been determined.
42-year-old Bradford Gillies is accused of stabbing shoppers inside the Walmart on Saturday before being detained by bystanders in the store's parking lot. Officials say the terrorism charge will be laid because the attack impacted a community rather than just an individual. Returning to Canada's trade war with the U.S. now, the issue putting a spotlight on a remote port in northern Manitoba. The port of Churchill could soon be a very strategic asset. CTV's Alex Karpa looks into the role it could play.
The port of Churchill, nestled along the shores of Hudson Bay in northern Manitoba, has become an important piece of the puzzle as the Canada-U.S. trade war rages on, and expanding it has a new sense of urgency.
We're building infrastructure, trade-enabling infrastructure for the future.
The port has a brief operating window each summer and is currently Canada's only Arctic seaport serviced by rail, and it's the shortest link from the prairies to the Atlantic Ocean, offering access to Europe and destinations around the world.
Building this trade-enabling infrastructure will further enable the vast resources we have in Western Canada out to global markets.
Last week, Manitoba and Saskatchewan signed an agreement with Arctic Gateway Group, which owns and operates the port, to upgrade infrastructure and modernize supply chains.
With the ice breaking and with properly built ships to withstand the ice, we could operate 12 months a year.
Barry Prentice says there is a lot of economic opportunity for Saskatchewan and Alberta to move products through the Hudson Bay.
You want to move bulk products, especially those that are somewhat storable. And potash fits in that category, as do minerals, petrochemicals, and even that matter, I suppose, some lumber.
All the talk about breathing new life into the Arctic comes as welcome news for those living in the north.
It's good for the country because it's another outlet of being able to ship, and kind of helps, with some of these bottlenecks that you kind of see logistically across the country.
In recent years, the federal and provincial governments have invested millions of dollars into the rail line and the port in Churchill to build up a trade route through the Arctic so Canadian products can reach markets globally. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Coming up tonight.
If it's totally burnt, there won't be anything this winter to chop.
How long it could take animals to venture back into areas torched by wildfires. Plus, call it the summer of summer. What Canada's Golden Girl is aiming for this week in international competition. Boaters near Montreal getting a real sinking feeling this weekend thanks to some thieves. 5 boats wound up sinking at this marina 90 kilometers southwest of Montreal after robbers made off with a type of engine that straddles the vessel's interior and exterior. The engines can run up to $15,000 apiece. Other boats had their propellers stolen. Some boat owners believe an organized network of thieves is targeting marinas in the area. Wildfires in Saskatchewan are burning throughout more than 1 million hectares across the north. Hundreds of structures have already been lost, including cabins and entire trap lines. As CTV's Alison Bamford explains, the damage could force some out of the industry and away from their passion.
This is Don Gordon's paradise, a plot of land where he's been trapping animals in Saskatchewan's boreal forest for 30 years.
You get to see nature at its best and the hardships that go with it. All the roots are burnt.
And he's seen his fair share.
It burnt the material right up against it.
A couple months ago, the threat of wildfires stopped just meters from his front door.
I didn't expect to come here to this. I came here expecting a pile of tin.
Dozens of trap lines and several cabins across the north have been completely wiped out, many not insured due to the location and affordability. Provincial assistance is available for some uninsurable losses, but trapper cabins are insurable, therefore not eligible, according to Saskatchewan's Public Safety Agency. First Nations chiefs want the province to change that.
Trapping is what built Canada, trapping industry. And there has to be, I said many times, there has to be support in this industry.
Saskatchewan's Public Safety Agency told us it will continue to review its programs and look at ways to better support the needs of the North in the future. Gordon counts himself lucky that he has a cabin to go back to, but he doesn't know how much of his trapping area actually burned or what it will mean for the animals.
There's going to be a lot of individuals that don't even go back. The land species, if it's totally burnt, there won't be anything this winter to trap.
It could take years to draw some species back into the burned areas. Some individual trappers might not survive this, but the industry will.
As long as there's product being provided and there's a market to buy the product, trapping, it'll remain.
A passion for him that will continue burning long after the fires. Allison Bamford, CTV News, near Torch River, Saskatchewan.
Still ahead, the new era of interprovincial trade. Why some local beer companies in PEI are not raising a glass just yet. Efforts to boost interprovincial trade have shifted into high gear with different proposals and agreements among provinces. Some businesses are expecting a massive boost as barriers come down, but it won't be easy. CTV's Maria Saru spoke with some brewers about the cheers and challenges ahead.
Pouring into new markets and the cups of millions of new customers is on the table. But for some producers, the trouble of moving beer across borders outweighs the benefits, says Lone Oak Brewing's co-owner.
It's probably not something that we would look to offer in the near future based on the logistical challenges and the costs of shipping.
Beer is heavy. Shipping in bulk is pricey, and ideally it should be kept cold. For small producers, these are bigger problems. If transport companies can cut costs and keep kegs cool, that'll help. But otherwise, direct-to-consumer alcohol sales is not a game changer, says the Canadian Craft Brewers Association.
I don't think that it's going to be a huge kind of market opportunity for us.
Even if the freight is figured out, every province plays by different tax rules, running their own regulatory boards. That's another challenge that could shrink profits if a standardized structure isn't put in place.
This is a symbolic move in trade more than anything else. I don't think alcohol is the top issue in Canada these days.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses Atlantic Director adds, if the red tape can be reduced, Canada can create solutions for other industries in the face of Trump's trade war. PEI's finance minister told CTV News in an email statement, there are many administrative details to work out and a lot of complexities involved in changing regulated spaces. But she's optimistic about meeting the May 2026 deadline. For now, the beer at Lone Oak stays local as the rules get a sober review. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Still ahead, the boys of summer. The Blue Jays accomplished something they haven't done in over 3 decades. The success and the reaction straight ahead. Montreal's Leylah Fernandez has won the biggest title of her career, the DC Open Final. This is the 22-year-old's first title since 2023. She'll be heading to her hometown this week to play in the National Bank Open. Canadian swimming superstar Summer McIntosh captured some hardware at the World Aquatics Championships in Singapore. The 18-year-old from Toronto finished the 400-meter freestyle in 3 minutes and 56.26 seconds. That's slightly slower than the world record she set at the Canadian trials last month, but enough to get her a gold medal. It's the first of 5 golds she hopes to win in the competition, something her coach believes she can definitely accomplish.
If you look at the number of people that have ever done it, we're talking Michael Phelps. So for somebody to be in the same company as that and striving to win 5 golds for herself and for Canada, it takes a lot of dedication, preparation, and also planning.
After the race, McIntosh said this was her biggest night of the whole competition, and winning gold is promising for the rest of the meet. A less than golden outcome for the Toronto Blue Jays this afternoon as the team lost to the Detroit Tigers. Still, Canada's baseball team has been on an epic run, now sitting at number 1 in the MLB. CTV's Kamal Karamali with their success and those benefiting from it.
And Springer drills it.
It's been win after win.
It's gone!
After win.
Guerrero!
And the hits just keep on coming. The Toronto Blue Jays have been on a tear.
Fair ball!
And after taking 3 wins out of 4 against the Detroit Tigers, they stand alone atop the standings. Now the best team in baseball.
I mean, we're on top of the world.
Throws to first!
Something that hasn't happened this late in the season since 1992 when they won the World Series.
They have great offense, right? It's super deep. They have up and down the line of guys that can put up great at-bats and work.
That deep offense has ticket prices soaring. Seats that were $30 last season now going for as much as 5 times that amount. While the bats are booming, so is business.
Crowds are in by 2 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. Like, compared to last year, there's just a buzz around the game.
A matinee game on a Sunday, allowing businesses to cash in with increased profits.
From last year, probably a good 15 to 20% better.
That's because the team's success is reeling in new fans.
I've always watched just a few innings here and there, but now, I love watching the whole game.
And converting those across Canada.
I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland.
Okay, and are there a lot of Jays fans there?
I'm sure there are.
Not knowing how far the team can go.
Very exciting. Very exciting. I think this is their year.
With just about a third of the season left, anything can happen in the regular season, but a team can usually put themselves in a pretty good spot to make the playoffs if they have 90 or more wins. The Jays right now with over 60 wins, and looks like they have a lot more left in the tank. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
That is our newscast for this Sunday night. I'm Heather Butts. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Good night, and I'll see you again tomorrow.